and today we're gonna be talking about Legator guitars. Now I was gonna do a review about this guitar that it is my Legator Ninja 6. This is part from the performance series from Legator, but Legator just discontinued this model of guitars, this series of guitars, and that's why I decide to do, instead of a review of this guitar, to talk about Legator guitars, and especially about the inconsistencies in quality that they've been having over the years. Now, since the immersion of Legator guitars, we have seen that there is a lot of guitar players that praise the quality control of Legator, but there is another ones that really don't like these guitars and try to stay away from them because a bad reputation of quality control. So I'm gonna give you guys my opinion about these guitars. I'm gonna tell you what is my experience with the ones that I have played. But before I do that, let's talk first about the history of Legator guitars, and then I will tell you guys what I think about this guitar brand. Legator Guitars was founded in Los Angeles, California in 2012 by Canon G, aiming to provide the demand for the upcoming generation of guitar players by the time, with modern guitar and bass instruments with features like 7 strings, 8 strings, multi-scale necks, and headless designs. Features that were limited to boutique builders, but Legator quickly built a reputation for innovation and commitment to addressing these needs for the modern guitar players at an accessible price point, relying on third-party manufacturers for the production of the guitars, building guitars around the world in countries like Japan, Indonesia, Korea, and China, with a solid roster of famous guitar and bass players like Charles Caldwell from Buried Alive, Mike Petroff from Slaughter to Prevail. Legator have found their spot on their guitar community and remains at the forefront of the industry, inspiring musicians to reach new heights of creativity and expression. Now, my opinion about Legator guitars. Well, I did try a couple of Legators in the past, and finally I decided to buy one. As you guys can see, this one is the one that I got, and this one is a mid-range guitar from Legator. And I really decided to try this one because it had all what I was looking for. Those lumen-like dots, the roasted maple neck, very cool sounding pickups. As you guys can see, this is a multi-scale guitar with fan fret, and comes with locking tuners. You know, it has everything that you are looking for, the color, everything. It is a very cool guitar that costs less than $1,000. It's not the most expensive guitar from Legator, it's not the cheapest guitar from Legator. This one is made in Korea, and that's where I'm going for, and I think that's where all the controversy with Legator comes from. Because like I said, Legator builds guitars around the world, and Legator builds these guitars through third-party manufacturers. They don't actually construct the guitars. It's just a brand. Legator is just a brand, and like many other guitar brands, they use manufacturers to build their guitars. I did try a Japanese Legator, and that guitar was a stunning instrument, really high quality instrument, really maybe one of the best guitars that I play, with modern features that I never seen before, and it was just a phenomenal instrument that I didn't have anything to complain with. I mean, it was just a perfect instrument. Later on, I was lucky to try an Indonesian-made guitar that was very similar to this one, but I think that this is part of the Performer series. It is a little bit better, especially in the quality sound of the pickups. I like more these pickups with different specs, but definitely this is a better constructed instrument. And at the end, I tried a Legator guitar made in China on my local guitar center, but even if they are the less expensive models, those guitars are around $600. And the guitar had a very bad fret sprout problem. I didn't like the way that the guitar felt. I felt a little bit delusion of the guitars. Now, like I said, Legator is not the only guitar brand that make guitars around the world, but the difference between quality of this guitar, that is the Performer series, with the less expensive one was Very big. If we compare these guitars with another brand that I really like, that it is a guy, Rondo Music, sell their guitars directly and they inspect all the guitars that they get here in the United States, and that makes a big difference. About Legator, I don't know if they inspect their guitars when they come here to the States, or they just send the guitars directly to the retail stores. As a relatively new brand, I think that Legator made a mistake of building the guitars everywhere. I understand that the demand that Legator was having was big, and that's why they maybe took that path, but this creates this quality gap that we all get about the brand. Because it's a new brand, you cannot do the same thing that Gibson and Epiphone does. You cannot do the same thing that Squier have with Fender. Now that I think that the demand for 7-string, 8-string guitars have ceased a little bit, it might be the right time for Legator to reconstruct and think about, to go back to the roots of the company and not only focus on innovation and giving you the cheapest modern guitar. Also focus in the best quality, keeping a more affordable instrument if we compare it, especially with the bigger brands. So, that was my thoughts about the controversy of Legator guitars. This was Solomon of Solomonic Demons. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and bye.